Here we go again. More fairy tales and yeah, just craziness. Biologically male D1 runner switches to women's team for senior year. Let's ponder why this would happen. I think we all know why. Let's get into the story though. A biological male runner in the NCAA's top division is competing in women's cross country this fall. June Eastwood, who identifies as a transgender woman, will represent the University of Montana at a cross country meet Saturday. Eastwood competed on the men's track and cross country teams through May 2018, the Bozeman Daily Chronicle reported. I felt like I still had more years in me, and that I would regret it later on if I didn't at least try to do what I'm doing. Eastwood told the local paper, describing the decision to compete on the women's team. It has nothing to do with biological males have a massive advantage. You know, the way we're formed, and this, that, and the other. We naturally build more muscle, naturally have more stamina. Yeah, so I wonder why he's actually saying, I'm going to switch to the women's team. It's not because he's sick of losing on the men's side, is it? I wonder. Our goal is to be supportive of all student athletes. I understand there will be varying opinions. There's not even varying opinions. There's factual information of why we should not allow biological males to compete against women. It's just not fair. It's not fair. This is one spot where I support feminism. Because this goes against everything feminism's for. You're literally letting men beat women. I mean, not physically, but in some cases, we saw with the UFC athlete, he, she, whatever, went in there and literally beat women and fractured one of them's skull. Smashed all that right there with the knee. It was disgusting and vile, and I couldn't believe the UFC allowed that to happen. And I still hold some reservations because of that. University Athletic Director Kent Hausman told the Daily Caller News Foundation in an email, "We have followed the NCAA bylaws and policies in place when it comes to the inclusion of transgender student athletes and participation in intercollegiate athletic competition. NCAA, y'all apparently need to get your shit together because you're making sports unfair for these freaking women. These girls grow up as athletes, you know, they generally have their goals set, and you're letting people come in who can almost practically 100% of the time beat them at sports competition. I mean, and I in no way take what I'm saying as being or denigrating to women. No, I'm not trying to do that at all. At all. What they are doing by allowing this biological male to compete against biological women, that's the true denigration here. That is the true denigration. I'm not in a position to know if June will gain an unfair advantage. Why, you don't have a brain? You don't have a cognitive thought going on inside of your melon? I think everybody is in position to realize that this is an unfair advantage. It is not my area of expertise, and therefore we rely on policies as set by the NCAA, Haslam said. You don't have to be an expert in anything to understand this. Not at all. A child could figure this out. Children do figure this out. You know, I've seen it many times. My son, he's been playing soccer for the last few years, and they're in co-ed soccer teams. And the boys know to act a little bit differently when they're playing like with the girls. It's a mutual respect thing. They understand. How come kids can do that, but it seems adults and teenagers can't seem to get this concept? I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. NCAA policies require male runners who identify as transgender women to suppress testosterone levels for a full calendar year before competing in women's athletics. The NCAA published an explainer in 2011 calling it not well founded. Yeah. To assume that being born with male body automatically gives a transgender woman an unfair advantage when competing against non-transgender women. Really? Really? Come on. We all know that males have a considerable percentage more of muscle, skeletal muscle, fast twitch muscle, this, that, and the other. Any type of muscle you can think of. Our bones are denser. There is a very obvious difference. There's a very, oh my god. I don't understand. I just don't understand why they don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Pick up a medical journal, for God's sakes. Pick them up. And don't excuse me. Let me clarify. If you're going to a very liberal, progressive, left-wing college, you might not want to read all their medical stuff because there's a lot of bias and opinion in there. I've seen it. But if you go to more prestigious places, you will see that, yes, they do say that there are significant advantages to being a male when it comes to athletics. Male athletes who identify as transgender women have an intolerable advantage over their female competitors. Even after suppressing their testosterone levels, a June paper published in the Journal of Medical Ethics concluded. Exactly. The science is there. Everything's there to show that this is nonsense. This is not equality. All those activist people who are like, oh, equality this, equality that, which aren't actually for equality at all, because while screaming equality, they completely crap on, people like white males, Christian white males, and stuff like this. All the time. Where's the equality there? There is none. They don't want to be equal. They want to be above. But we all know that. I don't have to go into some explanation for that. Eastwood's personal best as a male runner would shatter records in the women's category. Running blog Let's Run noted. That's why he's doing it. That's why that transgender weightlifter did it. That's why that the young black transgender runner, that's shattering records. Isn't this odd that whenever we let a male to female transgender person into sport, they go on to shatter, not just break, but shatter records? I wonder if there's a correlation between them having male bodies and their winning. Doesn't take a dang rocket scientist to figure this out, people. Eastwood's switch to the women's team comes as male athletes have racked up victories in women's athletics. Franklin Pierce University runner C.C. Tefler, I believe that is the person, the black person that I was talking about. So, I do believe so. A biological male who identifies as a transgender woman won an NCAA Division II Women's Track and Field Championship in May. Yeah, I think I'm pretty positive that is the person. Tefler competed on the men's team before switching to women's events. Tefler denied having an unfair advantage. Of course, they're not going to admit it. They know, but they're not going to say they know because they gotta play the ignorance card to that. Oh, I had no idea. I don't believe so. Of course, because you want to win, but you can't win as a male because there's other males that are better than you. I'm sorry. Life's not fair, people. There are winners and losers, especially in competition. That's kind of the point. Don't be upset that you lost. Try to strive to be better. Not sit there and say, you know what, since I can't beat these top male athletes, let me just say, I identify as a woman. Come on. Tefler denied having an unfair advantage over female runners, of course, in a June interview with ESPN. If anything, me competing against cisgender females is a disadvantage because my body is going through so many medical implications. Like it's going through biochemistry changes. That's because it's not natural. Yeah, I said it. It's because what you're doing is not natural or normal. Human bodies, when you're born, that's the body you were assigned by a greater power than us. You shouldn't mess with it. When you mess with it, Tefler told ESPN. Two biologically male runners, both of whom identify as transgender girls, have dominated girls' high school track in Connecticut. One of their female competitors, Selena Soule, has spoken out against the male runners' advantages. Yes, and I watched that interview. They had her on Fox News, and it was one of the saddest things I ever saw. Here is a girl who has strived her whole youth to be the best she can be at her sport. And what do they do? What does her school do? They allow a man to compete in a woman's sport, which he completely rose to the top the first race and took all the spotlight on these awesome women who are great athletes. He took all their shine away. This is unfair, people. This is unfair. I don't care if you're transgender. Doesn't bother me one bit. To each their own. God bless you for it. I mean, if that's what you truly feel and think, go for it. No worries. To each their own. But when your transgenderism is negatively affecting other people, I got a problem with that. That's where it becomes an issue. If you want to be transgender, that's fine. But you need to understand things are going to be different. And you might not get your way where you think you are. Because of fairness and equality. We're all supposed to be equal. We're all supposed to be equal. We're all supposed to be united. Under God and under our beautiful flag. But y'all are making it real difficult. Y'all are making it real difficult. And stories like this kind of hurt your cause. I don't know. I think it's completely unfeasible to allow males in any form to compete against women. Unless it's like a thinking sport. Like chess or something like that. Because then there would be really, to me, no unfair advantage. Because our brains are pretty much the same. And women might actually have more of an advantage. Because they can focus sometimes a little bit better than we can. It's true. I'll say it and I'll admit it. I've seen it. But, yeah. I'd love to hear your comments on this. Because this is just getting out of hand. It's really getting out of hand. These poor girls and young women are sitting here doing the best they possibly can. Which, they are amazing athletes. I probably, as a non-athletic person, I would lift weights and stuff like that to keep myself relatively healthy because I'm a smoker and all that, and I used to be a drinker, so I'm trying to, combat some of that damage done. But, yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong, and it makes me feel icky. But I'd love to hear your opinions on the matter. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side.